using this thing. Hello, recording people, welcome here. And this was our pre-class activity. John or Peyton drew that. I don't remember who was in here. So very interesting perspective picture, right? I'm going to clear it. And we'll move on to officially starting class. Maybe. Welcome to class. It is our 4th class out of 15. And today's Groundhog Day, February 2nd of 2018. Anybody know if the groundhog saw the shadow? Good morning. Oh, Dakota, now you're my favorite student. I have no idea. I haven't checked. Anybody believe a groundhog can predict the weather? I don't know. Maybe they can. Not sure. I will tell you before we start, everything has been working, but I did have a blue screen of death on my computer, and it has restarted. PowerPoint's been a little weird, but if I disappear, well, you know what to do. I just want to give you a heads up. It worked fine yesterday. I have to call tech support, but just in case something happens, you know the routine, all right? Yes, I did start the recording. Now, before I read the verse, anybody after reading chapter 5, anybody know what that is a statue of? My chat just went crazy. I gotta fix it. So I cannot see your answers. Why don't you answer? I'm trying to fix my chat. It took over my whole screen. No, I know that there is a command. I found it once. Chat settings. Minutemen. Yes. Excellent. Let me see. Minimize. That's what I want. No, I don't want it minimized. I want it reduced. Let me try one more thing. I'm sorry, recording people. This is going to take just a second. Let me see if I can remember how I fixed this last time this happened. The chat is like full. There it is. I got it. Control was hidden. Oh, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous, just like the people we're reading about, the men, the women, and even the children. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Why? For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Because God doesn't change. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's true for all of us. For you, for me, it's wherever you go, Joshua 1 verse 9. That is a statement of fact. We can rely on that. And you know, it's slightly more likely today. No emergencies. Don't call 911. Don't call the president. He's busy. Wait for me for about 15 minutes and then you can leave. Tech trouble, which means if my mouth doesn't match my words, or if you keep getting kicked out, you have to close everything else, check your mic, clear your cache. I can't tell you how to do that, but that's the best fix of all. All right. Best thing that happened last week or will happen this week? Birthdays, vacations, anything else? Anything? I can see my chat now. It snowed. That's wonderful. We had about an inch. It closed all the schools because we live in the mountains, and it was not so much the snow, it was black ice. The roads were very, very dangerous. Got an iPad Pro. Now that sounds wonderful. Is that what you're in class on? Or do you use it for something else? That sounds wonderful. Exciting. You have a lot to learn to use with that, I guess. Anybody, anything else? Peyton, something. Oh, you kind of restore. Are you the one that plays basketball? Sprained ankle, so you're recovering from that? That's good. Yeah. Those ankles. So important. Once you hurt one, you find out how important they are, don't you? I'll put the next question up. Okay, anybody else? Do I have a crackly voice for anybody else? Is there some problems with my sound? Okay, since everybody doesn't have that, it's probably not my system. It's probably yours. And I'm sorry, I know that's frustrating. All right, see, my doesn't want to, the PowerPoint doesn't want to work. Favorite outdoor activity any time of the year and the chore that you are best at doing. Yeah, don't draw without permission or everybody loses permission to write for the whole class. Mowing? You have a riding mower, push mower, electric one? Riding mower. I used to do that for my dad too. We had a really big yard in Florida. I liked it. Paintball and mostly like doing the dishes. I need somebody at my house who likes doing the dishes, Daniel. Best thing, nothing. Outdoor airsoft and chore, putting dishes in the dishwasher. Climbing trees and feeding the animals. I was a climber too. I loved climbing trees. It was probably, unless I could ride a horse, that was my favorite thing to do. I knew what you meant, Micah. The chickens. And what does that involve? Feeding, cleaning up the hen house, if you have a hen house, the barn, wherever you keep them. Feeding, watering, cleaning. Yep. It varies, but that's pretty much what we do with our animals. Do you train your chickens? I've recently learned you can train chickens. I never knew that. Like, people have them as companions. I had never known that. Do an obstacle course, train them to do tricks? Yes. Yes, you can. They can be companion animals. I did not know that. There you go, fresh eggs. All right, I wish everybody would answer. So this is going to be clunky today. My program is not responding like it should respond. If you forget what you're supposed to do, you go to the class page. If you want to meet with me in my office, please just email me. We'll set up a time. The office, this is the office. It's also the classroom. There just won't be a class going on. And depending on my schedule, evenings are good. I can meet during the day. It just depends on which day, what time. But if you have these questions, so I'll probably stop putting this up next week. We'll be almost a third of the way through. So let's move on. We are going to talk about the characters. And for some reason, this is huge and I can't see everything. So how are we going to do this? We are going to do a wiki project tour. And I'm going to share what you've done with your classmates. And you can narrate through it. I realize you just started them, so they're not going to be completely beautifully finished. I've only looked at one of them. Okay? If you don't want me to show yours, you need to tell me now, and I'll try to remember. Okay? And otherwise, we're not a very big class. I can't always show everybody's, but I do want to show just the beginning. I can show yours? Okay. If I can't show yours, let me know. And here's the other thing. I don't always see chat. Sometimes the chat disappears. So if you want to tell me something, the person I'm looking at, I will have you come on mic. Maddox doesn't really want to? Okay, you might, I'll ask. And somebody's going to have to come on mic and tell me, yes, show this. But let's say, Brandon, I'm showing yours. You can come on mic and camera if you want. Okay, and we'll just talk about it for a few minutes. They're just beginning, so they're short. Okay, so let me get them up here. Do I want the desktop? Yeah, I'm going to show my desktop. I'm going to have to close some pages. Okay, that's probably my desktop. Yeah, we want to close this page because I'm already in the classroom. Is that what your page looks like? I got to move my commands out of the way. Okay, I will. So we'll close this. We'll close this. We'll close my email. It's boring. Here we are. So I'm going to go back here to the pages. Oh dear. Look at there. We're in the Chamber of Secrets. You saw part of it. It doesn't want to change. Come on. Yeah, but you can't see the rest of it. There's a bunch of stuff under there. So here is our welcome page. Let me go to Wiki Projects. Is Anna Kate here yet? No, Anna Kate's not there. Micah, you're here, so I'm going to come to yours. And if you want to come on mic and tell us something about what you did, I love the title, The Crew, great title. You can all see this. Look, these images are fantastic. Images really, I'm going to go back to the instructions before I continue after Micah's, but see how the images make it interesting? The text doesn't have to be big, but you chose, Micah, I love the images you chose. Makes it more interesting to look at and easier to read. Where did you find this image? I'm going to steal it. I have been looking for that image. Okay, Peyton.
I have no idea where I found that image.
I really
have no idea.
Well, you'll probably see it because I'm going to steal that. I have been looking for those. These are great images.
Thank you.
This is a great, great job. And how long did it take you, Micah, to find the images and put all this together?
And it didn't take too long. We went to the Revere site, and then we got a lot of images off of that. Me and my mom did, so.
Yeah, that's a great choice. They have great. Google Images has a few. It doesn't have a much, but the site is excellent.
Okay.
Nice job, Micah. Okay, before I go back and we start looking at each other's, I wanted to talk about the directions. I don't want to do that. It is, oh, I don't have it here. That's a problem. I have to add it here. So I have some very detailed instructions, but it's on last semester's. It's not on this one. So I'll add that this week. And it tells you what you do for an A level, what you do for a B level, what you do for a C level. And I don't have that. That's why I can't see it. Okay, come back here. I'll add that this week. Brendan. Oh, hi, Anna Kate. We'll come back to yours. Want to tell us about yours, Brendan? So, great picture. Go ahead.
I thought that I was supposed to do actual history characters until after I did all of them.
Well, these are coming. So you've just pre-done some work, okay? And this is excellent. See how he's got the pictures there that shows who they are? That's really good. Excellent, Brandon. Good job. All right, Anna Kate, can I show yours? Dun, dun, dun. I know you've started. I already talked about we're just beginning. Everybody's isn't in a finished condition. So can you hear me? Well, I'll go. Dakota, I can show yours, right? Yes, no? Tell me out loud. Oh, I saw that. How about that? The chat stayed there for a little bit. Characters page. All right. Oh, you got a video up there. Good job. So here's the crew. Is this a video? You want to come tell us about this and where you got all the stuff and how long it took you?
I got most of it from like I got the video off of Revere.com, and then some of the pictures were off of like the internet. So
That's great, Dakota.
and it took me probably less than an hour to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good job. And had you made one before, or was this your first time?
This is my first time. I've never made one before.
So see, you guys are so much faster than I. That's exactly how I make our class pages, but you're much better. I mean, mine were so dry and dull at first until I figured out how to do stuff. I knew your generation is much faster than mine at learning stuff. Excellent job, Dakota.
Thanks.
So, Anna Kate, can I show yours? I need an answer from you, and I'll go on down. Kale, are you here? Kale, can I show yours?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, Anna Kate, I'm going to go back to you, so I'm in order. Okay, I don't know if somebody got kicked out or not. So here's Anna Kate's. She's got her characters. She says who they are, and she can choose to add pictures or not. That's her choice.
Actually, on my computer, I can't put pictures. Something went wrong.
Oh, really?
And so I got it wrong. I thought we were supposed to like pick one out of Paul Revere and Dr. Warren, and so I picked Paul Revere, but I guess I had to do all of them.
Okay, I haven't looked back at the assignment, so I'm not sure what I said. But if I didn't tell you to do them all, they're coming. Okay, but that's good. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you've got some great information here. And remember, especially the older you are, it's important that these are your own words. And if you copy and paste from some place, you tell where you got it from. This sounds like your own words to me. Anna Kate, it's really nicely done. Thank you. Great text. All right, Kale doesn't want it. Who's under Kale? Daniel, you said yes, correct? And Maddox said no. Good. Here's the first page here. And you can change the title of that if you want, Daniel. Great picture. All the main players there. I like this one because it shows attitude. The artist, cartoonist or whatever kind of artist that is, graphic designer, really caught Elizabeth's attitude, I think, in that picture. The first page, you got all the people. Great job on the images, Daniel. Good job. And you think that Elizabeth will turn nice. We'll have to see that, won't we? We have 3 books to find out. Good job, Daniel. Your mom has joined the class? Oh, okay. And let me see. Who's coming next? Maddox. John, can I show yours? I don't remember what you said. Okay. And Madison isn't here. So Madison will show yours a different time. Okay. Oh, 3 columns. Good job, John. I love it. It's your own words. Very good description. Second page, and you got that published. Good. Second page is coming. It's not made yet, which is fine. Great start, John. And for those of you, except like Anna Kate has problems, images do help. I encourage you to learn how to do that as you learn. There's no rush. Ha, it's a pun. Rush, rush. Okay. Excellent job, people. I'm proud of you all. And let me go back to our class. So I stop the share. I'm sorry, I have to talk myself through this or I don't do it well. And then I will share my screen, but I'm going to share my PowerPoint. So I hope you all are encouraged by each other's Wiki projects. I love it. It's good. You get ideas from other people. It's okay to borrow them. This is huge. I got to figure that out. All right. This is a picture of what? Yes. Now, did the size change for you when I did that? I don't know what you all see. Whoops. It is. What's the map of? I'm trying to see the whole screen. Yeah. And that doesn't show the map. Let me go back. Yes. Does somebody want to get their pencil or the text tool, or everybody, and find Boston Neck on that map and circle it or draw an arrow to it? Boston's there. The different routes are there. Brandon found Boston Neck. Because you found the arrow. Good job. So if you don't know, look down there. That's that little strip of land that connects Boston to the mainland. Maddox, good job. And you should go visit. And this was the Hancock House, where actually Paul Revere, he went to warn them. Did he get there? We're going to talk about that. Okay, I'm going to erase. Maybe. And move on. Because we're going to talk kind of quite a bit about. Okay, I'm actually going to skip this. Okay, one sentence, everybody type. Maybe one word. Something about the British Empire at this time and us, the scraggly lot of rebels. How would you describe the British Empire? Type it. Don't have to spell it right. Pick a box, any box. I mean, it's not a very big island. This continent is much bigger than that. Who did they think they were? Why they have such a, yes, Kale, huge. Like, if you're into Star Wars, like the Empire, only that's like over the universe. Yes, they are in control of everything pretty much, but they want to keep it. On where the sun never sets. Good job, Maddox. All over the globe. Huge. It was huge. And we thought, we in our untrained military, we could defeat the biggest, best equipped, most practiced army in the world. It was like taking on the Death Star. And you got your little, yes, exactly. Good job. I'm going to erase. Who did we think we were? Drawing is cleared. Next slide coming up. Chapter 5. I'm not going to have you type there. I have the next slide. So remember, when I assign, like this week, read chapter 5, even if you've read the book, I really mean read chapter 5 and stop there so that you know what we're talking about. But here's the thing, and I'm just as guilty of this as anybody. I read very quickly. I always have. And so I read it, and I would have read the whole book by now a couple of times. But I am not, if I do that, I am not going to remember what's in chapter 5. So if I were the student and you were my teacher, I would go back and reread chapter 5. And that's what I want you to do so that when you come to class, you know what's in chapter 5 or whatever chapter we're reading. And that's the content we're talking about. So we're going to speed up in the book. I don't think I do one chapter anymore, but there was some important stuff in this chapter. So everybody's name should be here. And I want you can make your text small if you want. I might not have made the boxes big enough. In your opinion, in chapter 5, 5 things, the most important things that happened, or 5 important things that happened in chapter 5. And if you can't think of 5, then do 2. Do as many as you can think of. And you have a box with your name on it. You don't have to, okay, then just do it in chat, okay, if you don't have text. I forgot. My bad, sorry about that, Micah. So Brandon, yours is up at the top. You have a box up here, it says Brandon. So try to move yours up there. Good job, Daniel. Who jumped over the huge wall? Only one horse in person jumped over the huge wall. And if you've ever seen a horse show where they're jumping, it must have been a really huge wall because the British had good horses. Don't worry about spelling, capitalization. This is on the go. You don't have time to fix it. The soldiers stole Brown Beauty. Yes, they did. Paul Revere was caught by the British. The Battle of Lexington. Yes. Hugely important. They all got separated and Revere got captured. Yes. Did you know that before you read the book? Did you know that Paul Revere got captured and kind of beat up? I didn't either. And I'm much older than you are. You knew that, Micah? I did not know that. But I did not learn my history very well in school, in public school, and I didn't really have to. So, yeah, Battle of Lexington Green. Good for you all who knew that. Tommy saved Little Liberty. He did. So, big important things. The capture of Revere.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go get my computer charger really fast.
Okay. And what else? So Revere got captured. Liberty stopped time and saved Tommy. Yes. Dawes left. Prescott is the one who jumped over the wall. Dawes left. He got captured. So the only rider who made it was the guy who jumped over the wall. Dawes, Dr. Prescott, who made it over the wall and made it to warn them in Concord. Wasn't that interesting? Good job, Tommy. Almost got shot. Yes, okay. I'm going to erase this. Maybe. This is just being a little finicky. And let's see if it will let me move on. All right. So, in this chapter, let's see. Yes.
I'm back.
Okay. They escaped because Paul made the redcoats believe there were 500 men waiting. So he inflated that. Yeah, he kind of fooled the British by making them. There were people waiting. He just inflated the numbers. And so I actually have a lot of videos this time there's some really great supportive videos, and as long as we have time, I'm going to show you some of them. One is really interesting, I think. Anyways, this is a little bit kooky, but I think it's well done. So the rest of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere and Dawes and Prescott, and the others whose names we don't even know, right? Because many riders actually went out. So let's watch this. It's a little slow in places.
Excuse me, kind sir, would you happen to know the direction of Lexington and Concord? Thank you, kind sir. Oh. Everybody knows the story of Paul Revere. The way the lantern was hung in the Old North Church. The way he rode to Lexington and Concord to warn the people. The British are coming! But what they don't tell you is the way the wind whipped through his hair. The feeling of his feet against the stirrups. The tug of the coarse, leathery reins in his hands. The way the dust rose behind him. They don't tell you about the chirping of the crickets or the sweet smell of the night spring air. Everybody knows the story of Paul Revere. But what they don't tell you is that Paul Revere never shouted, "The British are coming." I didn't? No. At the time, Americans still considered themselves British. Then what did I say? You said something more along the lines of, "The regulars are coming out." What's a regular? It's a soldier. It's still good. Whoa, slow down there. What now? This mission was conducted with absolute secrecy. There are soldiers all over Massachusetts. So what do? Go door to door? The regulars are coming out. Thanks, Paul. Gotta find my pants. I think I'll put them on the line. God, I couldn't have picked up more convenient time. States. Paul Revere wasn't even the only one warning people that night. William Dawes and Samuel Prescott also rode across the countryside, spreading the message of warning. Alright, is there anything more I need to know before I continue my famous ride? You're an amateur dentist? Really? You have 16 children. Criminy. And that's not your horse. What? You borrowed it from a merchant who won't be getting it back. What? Where does the horse go? Well, see, there's one last thing, and this one's the real kicker. Before the night is over, you will be arrested.
Don't worry, Paul. You'll be released before morning.
What? And that is the true story of the Midnight Ride. Wait! You didn't tell me who wins the war! Oh, the Americans do. Yes! And that is the true story of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Cute, huh? I don't know who made it. It's a little slow. It could be faster. Dispelling all the myths many people grow up hearing. Okay, let's switch to the Battle of Lexington. And in the book, it describes it really well, what happened. I have several things to say. So the Hancock House, Lexington Green, it's like a little park. It's just a big field, and you can go there today. And these houses still stand. Some are renovated. And one of these, if this is the Hancock House, that's where Tommy was, and he went to the barn. Maybe that was over here. Like the book said, nobody really knew they were going to fight. They didn't know what was going to happen. So the soldiers came and the militia came. And then they just said, okay, we're here. And somebody fired a shot. We don't know who fired the shot. And that started it. And women and children were out on the porches of their house watching. And all of a sudden, there's musket balls flying, killing people. Just like it said, and it's just not a safe thing to sit out on the porch on your rocking chair and watch a war happen, right? So pretty much as they described, except Tommy wasn't really there, and I don't think Little Liberty was really in the barn, but it made it exciting. So this is an artist rendering, and obviously here the redcoats are over here, and these are the militia, the colonials. Come on, turn the page. It does. So while we wait, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close this to get back because I have a lot of videos here, and here's the problem. I think the videos are what mess up my PowerPoint. So while I do this in chat, it's not even going to let me access my PowerPoint directions. Where are they? There they are. In chat, type what you remember, one or two things that you remember about the Battle of Lexington, because we have another battle coming really soon. Go ahead and do that in chat while I load this. Why this happens, I don't know. Screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed. All right. I haven't gotten that message before, but I'll fix it. I will get to the page. It's coming back. We're saved. So what you're typing now, I was going to have you do on the screen. And so we'll probably switch that because I can't even see the chat at the moment. So keep chatting. Crazy. I knew something was going to go wrong today. That just happens. I'm going to minimize my screen a little bit. I don't know what you guys see. Maybe you just see me. And now I'm coming back to the classroom. Oh, no, I'm not. It's on the wrong page. Got to fix that page. So what you're doing in chat, that's instead of writing on the screen on my next slide. Because this is a really important battle. I'm about done. I'm coming back. We're saved. Ha, I'm here. Now let me see what you've been chatting. Musket balls flying everybody. They could fly anybody. We don't know who fired the first shot. There was chaos. Yes, what you remember from the book. and the militia were outnumbered, grossly outnumbered. Yes, flying everywhere. All right, let's go to the next page, which is another video, which is probably going to mess it up, but we'll be at break then. This is not a weird video. This is a straightforward video, but it's pretty good. And there's a reason in the teaching. I just, for you guys, I think really carefully about the videos I bring in. There are so many available, but each of these gives you some different information or reinforces information that it's important to me that you have the chance to remember. So let's see if we can get this to work.
It's April 19th, 1775. The sun is rising on the village of Lexington, and the first battles of the Revolutionary War are about to begin. 700 British...
I don't know what happened. Let's try that again. This is a short clip. I don't know if we're going to see the whole thing.
It's April 19th, 1775. The sun is rising on the village of Lexington, and the first battles of the Revolutionary War are about to begin. 700 British soldiers march into Lexington at daybreak. They're on their way to Concord with orders to confiscate hidden weapons. Waiting in a tavern for the British are 77 colonial militiamen, a group of untrained soldiers.
We're talking about a bunch of farmers, very, very part-time soldiers, and they're facing these impressive-looking ranks of red-coated British soldiers.
The colonists aren't surprised to see the British. In fact, they've been warned by spies like Paul Revere, who spent the night before riding through the area on horseback giving out information on British troop movements.
They're all standing there, they're all armed, and nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. And then somebody fires. Nobody knows to this day who fired first, but once the shooting started, then everybody, all these armed men, leveled their weapons, began blasting away.
8 colonists fall dead or dying, and 10 more are wounded. The victorious British regroup and begin marching towards Concord. In nearby Concord, the British discover the weapons they're looking for, 3 massive cannons, and smash them.
There, I was trying to stop it. I don't want to talk about Concord until next week. So, because you're going to read about the next battle this week. So, before we go to break, I want to get a few things in about the shot heard around the world. Quote, quote. Here's a cartoon. What was that thing? I'm going to park on this just a little bit. We'll talk about this part after break, but I will tell you, this is really what that mysterious shot is called, the shot heard around the world. And there are other shots that started wars that are also called the shot heard around the world. This is one of them. And this is the first one I know of, but it could be others. I'm just not sure. So it is time for break. So I will talk about Ralph Waldo Emerson, like Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and why poetry even matters. When we come back, more videos, more fun, and a game. There's your trailer for the rest of class. No, 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 no. New share, drawing board. Just be respectful of other people. You can play tic-tac-toe or something, but do respect each other. 5 minutes, so at 10 minutes until the hour, we will begin again. Video stop, but I'm not leaving. Okay, we got about 30 seconds. Lots of tic-tac-toes. I like the picture, the guy with the mustache. He looks like somebody I know. Okay. Goodbye, pen. Back to class. Oh, I'll start my video after I get the screen up here. Find my chat. Find out who's in class. Here we go. So this is where I see who's here now. This is where the saying comes of the shot heard round the world. A guy, a poet, in 1830, so about 30 years before the Civil War, about, let's see, 70, 75, 80, 20, 50 years after Paul Revere's ride, wrote a poem because they were making a memorial to the ride. He wrote a hymn that they sang. I don't know the music, but look at the line in blue there. Here once the embattled farmers stood, there's our militia, and fired the shot heard round the world. Why do you think it would be called that? Was it really heard around the world?
Was it because it impacted the whole world?
Exactly. It impacted it changed everything. It started the revolution. It started the rebel battle against the empire. Of course, it had been going on, but here's your big empire. And somebody, we don't even know who fired that first shot, and that began the war. And it changed. We won, you know? It was a long battle, so that's why it's called the shot heard round the world. Why do you think poetry was so much more important in that time than it is now? I mean, I do love poetry, good poetry, but everybody would have eventually heard this. Was everybody just more literate and well-read? How come? Guess. You don't have to know it. Take a guess. Remember, you're not here because you know it. Entertainment. Good answer, Maddock. So could they go watch Netflix? Play a game on their phones? Watch TV? Go to a movie? No. Books were expensive. Not everybody had books. Poetry was memorized and presented as entertainment. People would go hear poetry read or sung. So that was the entertainment. Like you said, it was education. It was how information was remembered. And so it had a much more important place in every person's life then than it does now. And that's a little bit sad, but of course we have a lot more information coming in. So this is something most of the colonists would eventually have heard. Well, we were country by the time you wrote it, but. And of course there's a zillion videos on the shot. Stop. Stop. Oh, stop. All right. Let me try that again. This is 21 minutes long, but I got a clip of it. I will put the whole thing on the site if you want to watch it. It's just a couple of different ways of looking at the shot heard round the world. I had to turn my volume down.
Today on Liberty's Kids, these rebels need to be taught a lesson. Will you let them burn down the town? All companies march to the bridge, but hold your fire. We'll not fire on the king's troops unless we're fired upon first. It's a wonder you two are still standing.
April 19, 1775. Dear Mother, the people of the colonies are stubbornly independent.
Raised our taxes. Did we ever say?
None more so than here in Massachusetts.
And who can forget our brothers who lost their lives in the Boston Massacre?
They are bent on governing themselves. And now decry the same redcoats who just 12 years ago helped them win the French and Indian War.
The British are on the move!
Cousin Tom! He's serving under General Gage, marching on Concord. What must he be thinking right now? Cousin Tom, you are the answer.
And that's it. The whole thing is 20 minutes long. I'm obviously not going to play it. You used to watch these? Yes. Yeah, they're pretty factual. They're actually well done. I love the fact that she has a British accent because many people would, because they still consider themselves British. All right, who knows? I don't know why that's there. Who knows who that was? Let me get back there. Anybody know who that is?
Andy Griffin.
It is Andy Griffith. Who's he? This is an old TV show, like from when I was a kid. I mean, really
My
old.
family used to watch these all the time.
Really? Well, in this one, so set it up. It's a very old show. He's a sheriff. His wife has died and he's raising his son. And he has a deputy sheriff who's always a funny guy, Barney. Anyway, I thought you all would be interested in him explaining Paul Revere's Ride. So we're going to watch it, yes.
Yeah, listen, go out and play and have a good time. You don't have to study all that stuff and mess around learning all that dull stuff about the Indians and redcoats and cannons and guns and muskets and stuff.
What about Indians and redcoats and cannons and muskets and guns and stuff?
Oh, Indians and redcoats and, history.
Yeah?
Yeah, they had the craziest gun.
What gun?
Oh, they had a gun that fired a shot that was heard clear around the world. Darnest thing I ever heard of.
What gun?
What?
What kind of gun?
What kind of gun what?
You know what kind of gun? The kind of gun that can fire a shot that can be heard clear around the world. Tell us about that gun.
Well, there was this fella. You sure you want to hear this story? It's history.
For Pete's sake, tell the story.
Well, one time, a long time ago, this country was a part of England, and we wasn't getting along with them too good. In fact, we was thinking about breaking away and starting our own country. But the king over there in England, he says, you do that, and I'm going to send my redcoats. they was British soldiers, and he was going to send them over here to whip us.
Oh, the nerve.
Yeah. He says, you better think about that thing. Well, so your great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaddies all got together, to think about it. And they argued about it back and forth a while. And finally one of them says, let's do it. Let's start our own country. Somebody says, how you do that? Says, I don't know. Says, I reckon you just start. Says, what do we call it? Says, let's call it the United States of America.
That was a good name.
Yeah. Now, about that time, up in Boston, Massachusetts, there's a fellow living up there named Paul Revere. And he's a pretty good old fellow. Just as poor as Job's turkey, but he's a pretty good old fellow. And he owned a real good old horse named Nellie. Now, Paul, he was wandering around the streets up there one night, and he come up on a friend of his. And he says, howdy, what's new? His friend says, what's new? Says, the British is coming. That's what's new. What's the matter with thee? And Paul says, you're kidding. He says, it's a fact. Says, I just heard it from an Indian. And you know them Indians, they keep their ears to the ground. And Paul says, do the folks know about this? Fella says, I just heard about it myself. And Paul says, well, what we going to do? And fella says, I'm getting out of town. And Paul says, well, we got to spread the word. He says, you spread it. I'm getting out of town. Well, Paul, he didn't know what to do, but he knowed he had to do something. Now, it happened. It happened that they had planned, if the British was ever to come over here, that they'd put a light up in this high church steeple. And Paul went down there to look. And sure enough, there was the light, burning brighter than day. Well, Paul, he jumped on his old horse and he lit out. He didn't know where he was going, but he knew he had to go somewhere. Oh, I wish you could have seen it. That old horse with his ears laid back and his nostrils wide open, sucking in wind like a jet engine, feet pounding on them cobblestones, striking off sparks. Paul holding on for dear life and hollering at the top of his lungs. He says, the British is coming, the British is coming. Get you a gun, we gonna have us a revolution. And them farmers come piling out of the hay like bees out of a beehive. Minutemen, they're called. They grabbed their squirrel guns.
What's Minutemen?
Minutemen? There's fellas that had to be ready at a minute's notice. And when Paul comes screeching down the road that way, they grabbed their guns and hid out behind the weeds and walls and trees and everywhere. And when the British come prancing along, all dressed up in their red suits and a-waving to the girls, they let them have it. It was a sight to see. And then it happened.
They fired the gun.
They fired the gun. And the shot was so loud, it was heard clear around the world.
Oh, get out.
It's fact. That's the way this country started. You read the book.
What book?
Yeah, what book? Where'd you get that story, Pa?
Oh, your history book.
My history book?
Sure. All kinds of good stories stuck in there amongst the history.
Yeah? Good as the one you just told us?
Sure. Some of them even better.
No fooling, Pa?
No fooling. You fellas look through that book, I bet you in a couple of weeks you'd be coming in here telling me stories.
Okay, it was funny. There were some mistakes. What were some of the mistakes? Right. He didn't really say the British are coming, but because of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, we think that's what he said, or the country thinks that's what he said. Did he get on a horse named Nellie? His horse named Nellie? No. So it's a little, it stretched the facts a little bit, but I thought it was really cute. There's history on old TV that people still, that's one of the reasons that we're a little bit misguided, and yet it points out the importance of the story. And I'll have a link up there if you want to watch. I don't have any more than that. Like, I don't have the whole show. I just have that clip. So next week, you're the teacher, and I'm not, at least for a portion. I will either add 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have to add 2 for everybody to have a separate one, or 2 of you will share. Some of these we've heard about, but what I want you to do is to find out what they were, how they match up with our story, and if you can, you may not be able to, if you can find out like one fun fact about this that we may not know, because you'll be reading about all these things this week. Okay, and I have two things I will probably add. That's right, Brandon. It was not really heard on the other side of the world, but it was that important. It changed the world. Exactly. Good job. So you will teach us about these things next week. A lot of these things are in the book. You don't have to look them up anywhere else. So when you read, we're going to read chapters 4, 5, and 6, which is your main work this week. There's only a little bit of other work to do, and this is one of them. Find out what these things were and teach us about it in a fun fact. We're not going to do that this week. We're not going to do that. What? Who's talking?
Kale, we've already done 4 and 5.
We're going to I'm sorry. You're right. I may have written that. Maybe it's just chapter 6. I'll have to look and see. Thank you.
Okay.
It's at least chapter 6, which I may change. And I'm not going to have you look this up, but put your listening ears on. It's not just happening in the United States. There's stuff going on in the rest of the world. I just picked 3 countries. France is going to have a revolution too. There's many things going on there, but their revolution was very different than ours. Our revolution really is founded on biblical beliefs of the importance of the individual and the Reformation. France's revolution was built on, not on scriptural principles, let's just say. In India, there's that East India Company again, Captain Jack Sparrow. They're controlling India, they're in charge of India, and they were being kind of unfair there, the big empire, to the people in India. And in China, I don't remember which emperor it was. This dynasty, Qing, is pronounced Qing. And there's the East India Company there, too. Captain Jack's nemesis, the one who hated missionaries and hated pirates. So there's stuff broiling and going on in these 3 countries in particular that are going to affect our country's future. But I'm not going to require you to remember that. We already did that. We're going to do something with the timeline. Have we done this before? Okay, Dakota. All right, I'm going to pick you out. What I want you to look at are these things over here. Columbus, the Pilgrims, the names, the French and Indian War. And look at, this is the date behind it. And I'm just going to have you write the number, the picture that matches what happened first. So Anna Kate. Okay, well, I like to do this a lot. I love timelines. I can't make this work the way I want it. But I have an idea for next week. But I do this a lot. I want you to kind of remember what goes first. So Anna Kate, would you put a 1 on the thing that comes first? And Brandon, would you put a 2 on the thing that comes second? Kale, a 3 on the thing that comes third. Daniel, number 4. John, number 5. Maddock, number 6. Micah, number 7. I can't see under that. Hold on. And Peyton, number 8. And kind of make it big or that we can see it. Did I forget to label the stamp pack? Oh, I forgot to put it there. Every week I forget that I left that out. So John, you are, let's count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're number 5. Daniel's 4, John, you're number 5. So look on that list, find the 5th thing over here, because these are in order of time. Find the picture that matches it. Mac, you're number 6. Somebody wrote it down, Daniel, because I forgot the picture. There's just the words there. Thank you, whoever wrote that.
I wrote it down.
I can't hear you. Oh, because I got my volume down. That was. Thank you. So Anna Kate, did you write down 1? And so remember, if I talk to you a lot and you don't respond, I think you're not here. I mean, sometimes computers make mistakes. I mean, not make mistakes, but go clunky, and I will remove you from class if you don't answer. I need to know that you're here and actively engaged. So I see a 5, a 4, a 7. Okay, so would you do what I asked, please? Thank you, Anna Kate. I see number 2. Good job. That was Brandon. Oh, that's 3. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, that is not Columbus. Which picture? It even has his name on it. And so, yeah, you need to find the picture of Columbus because he's first. And so where did we end? We ended at the First Continental Congress. All right, we'll start at the bottom. Who's at the bottom? John? No. Peyton, would you, which one did you do? Would you do Patrick Henry? Micah, would you do the Revolutionary War? Maddock, can you do the Constitution? John, will you do George Washington? And Daniel, do Sacagawea and Lewis and Clark because they're the same. So what number were you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. You should have done the Boston Massacre, not George Washington. This was the 5th thing in order here. So just change the numbers. Boston Massacre would be 5. We're putting things in order as they go. And then George Washington would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's the 11th thing in order that happened. So Anna Kate. Yeah. Oh, I see. You didn't raise one. Good. You got it. We're going. Sacagawea. I got yours, Brandon. Good job. In the old days, in our other classroom, you could move the pictures. I used to have you move the pictures and put them in order, and everybody did it with a partner. This classroom doesn't do that, so I'm trying to find a way to make that happen. All right. I'm going to count backwards. 10 seconds, and we're going to go on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, Good. Erasing. And moving forward. All right, quiz game. This is not only true and false. Some of them you have to answer. It's a team game. So let me say how many are here? There are 9 of you here, so the teams will be uneven. One will have 5 people and one will have 4 people. We'll start at the top. Anna, Kate, Brandon, Kale, Daniel. 1, 2, 3, 4.
My mom is Hooker B.
Okay, well, she can't play. So Anna, Kate, Brandon, Kale, and Daniel are team 1, down to Daniel. Team 2 is John, Maddock, Micah, and mine doesn't show it, and Peyton. Oh, it's even, 4. So remember how this works. You have to keep track of your points. I'm not keeping track. Whoever did that, please don't. Thank you. Team 1 is going to go first, and I need everybody to answer. If everybody doesn't answer, the other team gets the point. Okay? If it's true and false, you get 2 points if you can make it true. So team 1, here's your first question. Ha. I'm kidding. Let's try it again. Here's your first question. Ta-da! There's your first question. Oh, the river in Boston is named the Johnny River. So true or false? I need everybody. I see 2 answers, 3 answers. Okay, one other point if you can tell me what the river's name is. It's not Johnny, it's team 2. If they don't get it, you get a chance to get a point if you can, don't Google it, but you can get a point if you can name it, if they can't name the river. So you just have to remember it, and you may not remember it, it's okay. You have about 10 seconds left to give an answer, team 2. Only one person has to get the second part right. I mean, team 1. My bad, team 1. The name of the river, it's not the Johnny River. What's it called? What is it called? About 5 seconds left. That's okay. Okay, time's up. Team 2, do you know? Team 2 can steal a point. Anybody on team 2 remember? It's okay if you don't. Just say yes or no so I know. Because we got a lot of questions to get to. I probably won't take this long with any other question. I gave you too much time. All right, time's up. It is a boy's name. It is Charles, the Charles River, not Johnny. You are team 2, John. Okay, this is team 2's question. Except it doesn't want to come. It's shy. Come on. Dr. Warren organized the militia to fight at Lexington. True or false? Okay, do you know who organized the militia? I'm not sure. It's an obscure name. We'll skip that one. Okay, you're each tied. Team 1, your question. The shot heard around the world was fired in France and heard in the colonies. Team 1. Indicate Brandon, Daniel, Kale. Now see yours, Anna Kate. And we'll see Kale's. Good, false. Oh, people on the recording, pick a team and just stick with that team. All right. Can you say what it was for another point? You got about 10 seconds. We don't have to be a huge explanation. There you go. Good answer. 2 points. Team 2, your question. True or false? Dr. Warren wanted to protect Cam from influenza, the flu. Team 2. 2 answers. 3 answers. It's not your team, Anna Kate. It's Daniel. Daniel, you're actually on this team too, I think. No, you're not. We lose somebody? Oh, Peyton. We need an answer from Peyton. Or your team loses a point, Peyton. Thank you. Team 1. I'm sorry, my PowerPoint is not responding well. So lantern signal, team 1, was 1 if by sea, 2 if by land. True or false? False, false, false. And Kate. What was it? For another point.
1 by land, 2 by sea.
I'll take it. All right. Team 2. Brown Beauty was Paul Revere's favorite horse for his whole life. Two answers. Need 2 more. John and Peyton. You there, John? Or maybe I missed it. No, I don't see it. Maybe John stepped away? There you go. Okay. How do you make that true? Anybody on team 2? Okay, we'll take that. He borrowed the horse. Team 1. Tommy did something stupid in chapter 5. Team 1. Annie Kate. Good. What was it for another point? Briefly. And you can come on mic if you want. You don't have to chat it.
Standing in the middle of the battle.
Yes. Going out to get Little Liberty. Team 2. All the riders made it safely to their destinations to warn about the British coming, or the Redcoats, or the regulars. Team 2. Two answers, John and Peyton. How do you make it true? Remember how many got captured that we know of? 2. Paul Revere and Dawes. So how many made it to Concord to warn them? Good job. You got the point. Team 1. In Lexington, the Redcoats fired the first shot. I can't hear you. Say that again. So true or false? Is that true or false? Good job. We'll take it. It's false because nobody knows. Team 2. Hard one. Who is this and what did he do? Sometimes I forget the pictures. I'll be honest with you. Maddox got a thing going, guys. Look at Maddox's answer. Everybody, you can, yeah, well, I need it typed, I think. We're almost out of time. Yes. Good job. We'll move on to the next one. That was team 2. You get 2 points for that. Team 1. General Gage was a son of liberty. And we just found out what he did. So Cam's response to Billy the Bully was probably the best choice to make. That would be last chapter. There's a little opinion here. That's when he challenged him to a game and he didn't punch him. He kept control of himself. Yeah, and the first time he didn't. The second time he did. You get the point. Team 1. The HMS Somerset was a type of carriage used by the British. Brandon says false. Does the rest of the team agree? Kale says false. Anna Kate. Brandon already answered. Who is it? Daniel? Good. What was it? For another point. Ooh, we only have 2 minutes left. We're not going to finish. What was the HMS Somerset? That was actually, go ahead.
A ship.
Yes. What kind of ship? Whose ship? Remember?
A British ship.
Exactly. In the Charles River, and Paul Revere had to sneak around it. Great answer. Team 2. Paul Revere rode through the streets yelling, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" Team 2. Maddox says false. False, false. Peyton, you there? How do you make that true? And that will be our last question. Yeah, did he yell?
He said the regulars were coming.
Yes, he did. And he went house to house. And let's go quick to the assignment, which I think is a mistake. I'm going to get past these. All right. Oh, I was wrong. Chapters 6, 7, and 8. There are 3 chapters this week. So that is your main job. You're the teacher, what it is, what it was, and a fun fact. Oh, and a wiki page on the battles of Lexington and Concord, which you will read about this week. I think that's chapter 6 or 7. I can't remember. And so your main job is reading 3 chapters, which is more than I usually assign, but we have 2 more books to get through. And I really wanted to park on Paul Revere's Ride and that first battle, The second one comes very close behind it, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Who won? What were your points? What were the team points? Did anybody keep points? And you'll on the recording figure out Madison and Dakota. You didn't keep points? Okay, well then we don't know who won. It was close. It was very close. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all she wrote. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Have a lovely week. Bye, Brandon. I'm just trying to turn off the recording.